I found a few names for ripple effect. I found butterfly effect. Someone was saying, you might not believe a butterfly flapping its wings would turn into a tornado, but it can. And I laughed at that, loved it. And then compound effect and domino effect. So those were some that I read. And I know we're going to jump into this, so this is just pre-gaming right now. But I was thinking it's so true that you could just, let's say you're speeding and you get a ticket for speeding and then you're late to work because of that. And then you get fired. Then you can't pay your bills. Then next thing you know, you're selling drugs on the streets. It just can happen that fast. And then you're in a van down by the river living there. It's the ripple effect.
Wow, that was aggressive.
But there's a positive too. The ripple effect can go the other way around. It could be like, I don't know, let's say you tell your friends about your favorite podcast. You just tell one friend and then that friend tells one friend. And then suddenly everyone's telling all their friends about a podcast. And the ripple effect is the podcast grows and the two podcasters become multi-billionaires and they give you money because they remember who you are. I'm not talking about a specific podcast, but anyway.
I'm making my way through the drip, drip, drop.
Welcome to the Cydni and Sher podcast.
Today, Cydni, we are going to talk about how small acts lead to big joy. So immediately I had two thoughts come to mind. And the first one was that I loved fishing with my dad. And I used to drive him crazy because we'd go out on the lake or we'd be on the river or on the stream or whatever. And I would start to lose interest in fishing. And so I would begin throwing rocks, which was always problematic when you're fishing.
I was going to say, I don't know much about fishing, but I feel like catching a fish with a rock is more difficult for other people if you're near them.
It is. Yes. My dad would say, please don't throw rocks. And then I would try not to, but it would just happen again anyway. But as you were talking about that ripple effect, when you take a pebble and you throw it into a pond or a lake or whatever, it's going to create like a little splash, but it will also create a ripple. And the ripple will surround that little pebble and then go out in all directions. You know, like I would start getting bored of just throwing little pebbles in, and the rocks would progressively get bigger and bigger and bigger until pretty soon I was lifting up a rock as heavy as I could possibly lift it and then chuck it in to make a ginormous splash, which then made the ripples even bigger, much to my delight. And my dad was like, "You're driving me crazy, kid."
I'm sure he was that nice and calm about it.
For
hey,
sure.
Sweetheart,
Mm-hmm.
could you just go ahead and put that pebble down? I'm sure it was like that.
Anyone who knows my dad definitely knows that's how he didn't respond. But the thing that is important from this is how one little pebble or one rock can lead to endless amount of ripples on that lake. And this is what we mean by small acts. One small act can lead to an endless ripple for good.
Before you get to your second one, I want to put AI before your second story because I asked AI to tell me a few of these ripple effects. And because I noticed when I was studying the rock one, a lot of people love to share that. And I think it's because it's a beautiful illustration of how that actually works visually. But someone did add, if I could just add one little thing to it, that if you looked at a lake that was just glass clear and you never did anything, nothing's ever done. Inaction is worse than a little pebble going in.
That's a really good point.
But AI said, here's a few examples of the ripple effect. The snack heist. You steal one chip from your roommate's bag. They notice. They retaliate by hiding your phone. You hide their keys. Soon, the apartment is a booby-trapped war zone. And then the landlord bans you both forever.
That's a great example.
I'll share one more. The gym fiasco. You skip leg day once. Your jeans feel a little snug. Next week, you waddle like a penguin. By month's end, you're wearing the sweatpants to a wedding. And the photographer captions the photo, "Here comes the bride and the human marshmallow."
Jeez. I feel like your ripple effect examples are, again, you've been very aggressive with all your examples today.
I know. I don't know what energy it is. It could be that today our flight was canceled for a team traveling situation and now everyone has to go in a bus together. It could be that. It's fine.
I do think I know what your problem is. I don't think
I didn't know it was a problem.
I don't think it's that the plane was canceled. I think it's because being a teacher, this is my expertise. It's because it's been a full moon.
Yes.
That's your problem.
It's the great harvest full moon.
Correct.
And I'm a Virgo. Year of the rats. And that leads me into the pet rebellion. You teach your parrot to say, feed me. It teaches the dog. The dog teaches the cat. Now your Amazon Alexa is ordering 47 pounds of salmon at 3 a.m.
Again, a little aggressive, but yes, I think people are getting the point.
Aggressive, yes. Real life. Also, yes. Full moon.
I'm going to give my second example if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So the first one, again, I thought of, bugging my dad. But then the second one, I remember very clearly. I was going through the drive-thru at McDonald's, and in front of me was my neighbor who lives across the street, Amy. And she noticed and she was waving hello. And then I got up there to get my delicious drive-thru McDonald's food, and Amy had paid for it.
Amy is a queen. She's a magnificent queen.
Yes, for real. This made me start thinking about what has actually been the longest drive-thru pay-it-forward chain ever. And it happened in Minnesota at a Dairy Queen. It was over 900 cars participated, and it lasted for more than 2.5 days in December of 2020. This chain was started by a single customer and continued by hundreds of other customers, and even some customers leaving money to restart the chain when the store closed for the night so they could just pick it up where they left off in the morning. And all I could think of is this is a really great ripple effect with a lot of joy happening from fast food.
I love this story so much, and I love that you shared it because I love knowing things like this. Then I thought, we should go do this. Let's go start one.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we'll go through a drive-thru, and we'll drive up and we'll say, hey, the people behind us offered to pay for our food, because we don't want to copy and do the same thing someone did in 2020. We need to change it for creativity purposes, and we'll start that kind of chain.
You are a thinker.
I know. It's just, this one's really touched my heart. And I just feel changed by this episode.
Sometimes I think you might have missed the point, but maybe not. Maybe that is exactly what it means. Who knows? So one of the things we really want to focus on today is what are the ripple effects that we are creating? Because they can be both positive and negative. But we really want to focus on the positive today because that is the vibe we're feeling.
Okay, Sher, you didn't add that it had to be positive, so I didn't actually do the same style. I'm also bringing to the table negativity today.
So even though we have a positive vibe going, you're just going to bring some negativity just for funsies?
I'm just dropping some truth.
Okay, in D&C section 64, verse 33, it says, "Wherefore be not weary in well-doing, for ye are laying the foundation of a great work, and out of small things proceedeth that which is great." I really love this scripture because it ties in with my history brain, because you can see this happen over and over again throughout history. Small little things lead to great and amazing things. So I thought this would be a really good time to bring up one of my faves, John Quincy Adams, and bring up a quote that we both love, which is, "The duty is ours, the results are God's."
This is the foundation, actually, of our podcast, that quote. That's beautiful and positive.
It is.
And another positive is Ben is encouraging me / forcing me to watch John Adams again. This is our third attempt because I fall asleep. I said, let's watch Hamilton. There's music and I pay attention better. And he said it's not entirely historically accurate. And I was like, but that's not what it's about. Anyway, we're watching it. And so I'm just 100% here right now.
You do know that we're talking about John Adams' son, right?
Yeah, John Adams' son was in the last scene that we watched. So I'm on the same page.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure.
I am liking John Adams' series more than the other 2 times by far.
Oh,
because of you.
Yay!
Truly.
You're
I'm like,
such a
I know
liar.
who John Adams is. I know he's a president, and I know that his son becomes a president.
Look at you.
I know. I told my kids. Now they know. It's a ripple effect. My grandchildren will know because of your ripple effect.
We need to keep it going because it's very clear that there are too many Americans that don't know anything about history.
John Adams, a beer? Is that a beer?
Oh my gosh. Oh, crushing my soul right now. All right, back to John Quincy Adams. He wasn't known for being the most jovial and easygoing person, but he stuck to his principles.
I think it's because of his father. I saw how he's raising him. It's very intense.
Yes, I do believe it is because of his father, but you can't forget Mom because Mom's pretty bad A herself.
She's amazing. She's my favorite character.
She is amazing. She's really great. Okay, James Smithson, he was a really wealthy English scientist. he left a huge chunk of change to the United States. And he said it was for the increase and diffusion of knowledge. Okay, let me tell you how much money he left. And this was back in the early 1800s. And Cydni, he left gold coins worth $500,000 back then.
That's a lot of gold coins.
That is a lot of gold coins. How do you collect that many gold coins?
I think you start one at a time and it ripple effects into 500,000.
I think you're right. All right. So John Quincy Adams was determined that this money would be used for the increase and diffusion of knowledge. He did not want the money, quote, wasted upon hungry and worthless political jackals.
Amen to that. And heck yeah.
Yeah. He made sure that the U.S. government started and opened the Smithsonian. So look at that ripple effect. James Smithson gave us this money, and then John Quincy Adams put his foot down and made sure it went for a good purpose and actually did continue to increase knowledge in the United States. There's one ripple effect that has impacted our culture.
I learned that James Smithson never had been to America and he still donated his money to America.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so he had never stepped foot in this land, but that's where he wanted the money to go. So my first thought was a conspiracy. Like, did he really do that? Or did somebody get a hold of his will after he passed away? That was my first thought. But then my second was, or was he inspired by the freedom in America and what the vision of America was? And he wanted to invest in that even without being around. And I think that's the truth, but I like the conspiracy idea a lot.
I knew you would like that conspiracy idea.
Then I loved this because it illustrates exactly the ripple effect by numbers, that the first year that the museum was open, they saw about 100,000 visitors in that year. Would you guess how many visitors they see yearly now?
I don't even have an idea. It has to be over 1 million.
It's 16.8 million.
No way.
Talk about a good investment. And honestly, think about every person, every child that goes through one of those museums. And maybe that's why someone becomes a zoologist.
I love the Smithsonian. I think it's fantastic. I'm going to go back to John Quincy Adams, though. My very favorite story about John Quincy Adams is everything he did to help abolish slavery. So in the 1830s and the 1840s, the House of Representatives had a gag rule on slavery. If the subject came up, it was automatically tabled, which means that they refused to talk about it. That way, the issue and the debate was always silenced. John Quincy Adams, with this gag rule, he ignored it. And he kept bringing the issue of slavery up, and he wasn't going to let it go. But not only did he keep bringing the issue of slavery up, but he also did everything he could to get rid of this stupid gag rule. And finally, after 8 years of fighting to get rid of it, in 1844, the House of Representatives finally got rid of this unconstitutional rule. After this happened, John Quincy Adams, for the last 4 years of his life, did everything he could to continue to fight to abolish slavery. The last 3 months of his life, he became a mentor to a new politician in the House of Representatives. His name was Abraham Lincoln. They worked together for just 3 months, both of them wanting to abolish slavery. John Quincy Adams worked his entire life to abolish slavery. He said it was a sin before the sight of God, an outrage upon the goodness of God, and the great and foul stain upon the North American continent. So he threw his pebble into the pond, and during his lifetime, he didn't see much of a splash. He had no idea where it was going, and he didn't see any results at all. But that ripple made it to Abraham Lincoln, and that's when that ripple became not just a little ripple, but a tidal wave. So we never know what that ripple effect will be when we do those small little acts of being kind, choosing the right, sticking to correct principles, and helping others. We have no idea where that's going to go, but God does. So as John Quincy Adams said, he knew that the duty was his to keep fighting for true principles, and the results were God's. And God knew that John Quincy Adams would influence Abraham Lincoln, and he would continue to carry that football, different analogy, over the line.
While you were preparing, did you think of any ripple effects in your personal life? I was trying to come up with mine, like something that someone has said or done that just really shaped you forever and then you've passed along? I was thinking about that. I have a thought. My third grade teacher, who is among one of my favorite people forever, she would do this activity in the classroom. She'd put on classical music and you were supposed to close your eyes and she would say, draw how the music makes you feel. Just scribble. She just wanted movement with pencil to paper. I got really into it. I still remember doing it, vivid as day. I can see myself just closing my eyes. I don't know if anyone else did it, but I did. I was all in. I'd listen to the music and I would just draw. And now I do that with my kids. We do that sometimes together, but still to this day, because of Miss Scholl, I write how music makes me feel. And that comes to my mind sometimes when I'm listening to classical music and just spending some time writing. I always hear a little voice in the back of my mind that's like, write how the music makes you feel. And that has been some of the most wonderful experiences of writing in my life. And I've passed that on to my kids in different ways too. And it's such a little thing, I know, but it's such an interesting little thing she did that has impacted me. And now my kids, they do it too.
That is such a good story. And that's going to bring us to our next subject, which is we can just keep it simple. Because I don't have $500,000 and I'm not in the House of Representatives.
Oh, really? Then explain your gold-plated toilet share. How do you have that?
Spray paint. But it's okay. We need to keep it simple, right where God has placed us. In Alma chapter 37, verses 6 through 7, it says, "But behold, I say unto you, that by small and simple things are great things brought to pass. And small means, in many instances, does confound the wise. And the Lord God does work by means to bring about this great and eternal purposes. And by very small means, the Lord does confound the wise and bringeth about the salvation of many souls." This is where we fit in. We are part of God's plan, and He takes those simple good acts and good choices we make every single day to make glorious things happen. We don't need to figure out where the ripple is going or where it's going to land because God has it all figured out. We just need to do the next right thing because the duty is ours to do the right thing, and then God will make sure that the results bring great things to pass.
We should just end there because that was so beautiful, but no, I'm going to keep talking. I wanted to share just a few quotes that President Oak shared in a talk that's called Small and Simple Things. Actually, when I listened to it, I thought, why are we doing an episode on this? He gives everything in this one talk. People could just listen to him. And I thought, no, because he'll miss out on John Quincy Adams. And I was right. He never mentioned him once.
It does make more sense just to listen to a talk by President Oaks.
No, it doesn't. Share our podcast with everyone. He shared President Stephen C. Wheelwright's quote from Alma's teaching. He said, "Alma confirms for his son that indeed the pattern of the Lord, when we exercise faith in him and follow his counsel in small and simple things, is that he blesses us with small daily miracles and over time with marvelous works." And then one more he shared, and I liked it because he said it was a secular teacher, Senator Dan Coates. The only preparation for that one profound decision, which can change a life or even a nation, is those hundreds and thousands of half-conscious, self-defining, seemingly insignificant decisions made in private. My number one takeaway from listening to President Oaks is that it is the small and simple daily decisions we make in our private life that are going to create the kind of person we are and the type of environment we create for other people too. I've really taken notice lately that if I spend my time scrolling on social media and listening to more murder mystery podcasts, I have found I'm a lot more short-tempered and impatient in everything I'm doing. But when I'm learning something positive and I'm listening to better music and I'm spending my time more wisely, I am just incredible to be around, like absolutely incredible to be around.
Don't push
just like amazing to be around.
A little too far. I really love the example you just gave, Cydni, because it ties into what we discussed last week. In order to get that ripple effect, it's better if we practice it. And last week we talked about making it part of who we are and living generously. And that's what's going to help us get those good chemicals in your brain going. And it just makes you feel better as a person. starting these ripple effects isn't just good for other people, it's good for us and our soul as well.
And as we seek after joy this year, we're learning that the more aware we are of our daily decisions and the more aware we are of other people and serving them, the more joy we have. And the inspiration behind this episode is to inspire you to be more aware of the simple little things that feel insignificant, that maybe the world doesn't value, but how deeply they might impact somebody else. A kind word, just a small gesture that shows someone that you were thinking about them, you may not ever understand the deep impact that will have. And you may feel like you don't have a lot to give. And that reminds me of the story of the man who carries water with 2 buckets. And one of the buckets is perfect and the other bucket is cracked and old. And the bucket apologizes and says, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for my cracks. I'm sorry that I'm broken. And the man says to his bucket, look back, bucket. Look back on the trail that we have traveled together. And along the trail is a beautiful, lush garden because day after day it dripped and dripped and dripped on the path. And the cracks provided nourishment along the path. And that's us. We might feel cracked and old, and some of us are, but that doesn't mean we don't have the power to have a ripple effect in someone else's day and life. And so we challenge you to deliberately cause a positive ripple effect today.
This brings us to our final thoughts. Remember that seemingly small acts, a smile, a kind word, a simple act of service, can send ripples far beyond what we ever see. Like tossing a pebble into a lake, our actions spread out and touch lives in ways we may never know. God weaves our small efforts into His grand design. We don't need to know where the ripple will end. Just trust Him and keep doing the next right thing. This is our prayer.
From Cydni and Sher.
I'm forging my way through the tip top. I'm living my life through the drip drop. When eternity's plan, I just can't stop. I'm making my way through the drip drop.
Whoops, I didn't want that one. I guess this one.
Perfect. Okay, the ripple effect.
That was pretty ripply.
That's good. I don't think it's ever going to stop. I like where you're going with the button thing. It reminds me of a child in an elevator. Usually it's me. Once you start, you can't stop. It's a ripple effect.
You're right.
I like it.
I don't know. Suddenly I feel like I'm taller.
Maybe you grew. Have you been taking your multivitamins?
John Quincy Adams, he did not want to waste the money, and sorry, I got really distracted.
What's going on over here?
I don't know.
Give your dog
I
the
know.
gag order.
Seriously.
You have the gag order, Rudy.
Starting now.
I'm just like, does this even go, actually? Am I deceived? I thought that was funny. I did. Is it funny?
It is funny.
A kind word, a hug. I was just thinking I don't want a hug from anyone. So I was like, if I say that, will someone hug me?
Have a good week.
Bye.